longer a lawyer. But today we've got a special guest. Bevan, I will let you do the introduction.
Okay.
I was going for Jemba, former
Ghana's thing. I know that's outdated.
That's outdated.
No, you can't be talking about that. In fact, you do that when you're doing your TV thing.
Yeah, okay.
You're doing your TV thing. This is a podcast. We're not talking about his film. Actually, we are in the presence of royalty.
Royalty?
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes, because, we are graced by the CEO of an emerging giant.
A giant?
Yeah, an emerging. I'm not saying a giant.
Yeah,
an emerging giant.
They're not
yet a giant, but they're becoming a giant. So there's a new team in the Northern Region, Division 1, called Mumhari. Mumhari. And we have a privilege of having the CEO, none other than our own Terence Malunga. Welcome to the show, Jamba.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. I mean, the first part that I loved, you acknowledge that this is a big team in the making.
Jemba.
And the beauty is it's in the making before it even kicked the ball. At least that in itself, for me, gives me comfort that you appreciate that this is a big team in the making.
Yeah, I mean, like I've always said, for me, the field of play is the very last, that's the end point. So the things that actually matter are the things that happen, behind the scenes, the organization behind the scenes, the structures and everything. That's for me what matters. So that for me speaks to whether a team is a giant or is going to be a giant or not. So I mean, I've seen enough at Mumhari to say I see an emerging giant.
I haven't seen anything. Let's start off with the name. Why Mumhari?
Okay, I think if you say you haven't seen anything, I think it's either you are blindly. Listen, either you are blindly walking in town, because I've got a couple of Aquas, Toyota Aquas rolling the streets of Harare. So if you told me that you haven't come across even a single one of them.
I've seen the Scotland.
Innocent. Whenever you hear I've got a couple of Aquas, then know that when we talk about Aquas in Zimbabwe, you know what we're talking about. So anyway, let him finish.
No, we'll get to that. But I just wanted you to. I think what Bevan has alluded to makes a whole lot of sense in terms of what football is. I think he knows what I advocate for, and we have been advocating for it for a while now, and that's proper club licensing structures. I mean, in terms of the structures, the football playing is, like you said, is the 20%. It's the last, but you have the 80% behind the scenes. How the club is organized, how is it structured, legally, a leadership structure, the technical. And for your own information, I think my technical team has got about 11 personnel. And I mean,
bigger than most Premiership teams.
Way bigger than most Premiership teams, and they are well catered for. You see the unveiling that we're going to do, and the kid that this club is going to be donning. That tells you that there is a really, really powerful team, and a really, really powerful benefactor behind the scenes.
We'll get to that, but I want you to address what Innocent said, because he said, "What's with the name though, Mumhari? Ngombe. It's not Mombe. It's Ngo."
So, like, wow, same with me. I'm actually from the Eastern Highlands. So when we are in the eastern part, I did Mombe. It's not Ngombe. You know, and Opingula Ngombe. So it's way probably now at least you have an idea where the team or the legacy or the attachment that the team has is coming from. It's coming from the eastern part of the country. It's coming from that's where its roots are, and like you're saying, it's Ngombe. Well, I know the name itself. It shouts and rings out some other things that probably some people will say, what kind of name is that? But believe you me, what I can only assure you is there is a rich legacy behind that name, a rich legacy which apparently with my paycheck, I'm not really privy to be talking about it.
What is your paycheck, by the way?
Well, to be able to tell you the background, just the background, but I can't delve much into what is it all about and how did it come to being. But I'll give you pointers. I'll give you a hint. If you look at there is Ngombe Football Club, and the club nickname is the Hunters, and if you look at it, just prima facie, just from the face of it, they look quite contradictory. But this is things that are really forging together, things that will speak to each other once we have the history of the club out there. Are you answered?
No, you just went out in circles. I want to know if Ngombe Yaora for a football club. Like, we know where Caps United comes from. We know where Dynamos comes from. We know where Highlanders comes from. And we know where Scotland FC, the name, comes from, technically. Okay, but where is this one why would we sit down and say
I would have, like I told you, I would have given you the rich history behind it. Like I pointed out, there is a rich family legacy or family history behind the name.
Whose family?
Which family?
No, like I'm telling you, the benefactor, which we'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It appears that there is this mystic individual behind that was just being.
It's a family.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I think we'll get there.
No, you're actually getting it, and like you're saying, there's nothing mystic about it, right? There's nothing mystic about it. It's pretty clear.
Who is this benefactor?
No, listen. In terms of the clarity and the name and where it's coming from. Listen, we'll get to it. Yeah, we're actually getting to it. But the point that I'm trying to make is by the time we start really giving the history behind the name, you get to appreciate it. We didn't want to come here and preempt because it's part of our club introduction series. We're gonna have a full series of us introducing the club. This is where the club is starting from, and this is where it is, and this is where we want to go. So it's gonna be all entirely be a package. So I don't want to preempt. And speak about it.
So is this you just talking or speaking like a CEO, saying some of these things are above my pay grade? Exactly, diplomatic and all. But anyway, has it not been a marketing nightmare? I mean, as in the name, it's not your usual kind of name, innocent. Is it? It's like Ngombe Awora, because if it's Ngombe, you think Ngombe Atunga, Ngombe Akuma, Ngombe Amanya, Ngombe Awora.
Talking about the Ngombe Gutunga, I mean, you should look at our logo. Our logo speaks volumes. And obviously we're gonna all the teams that are gonna come in our front.
Wait.
We will.
Producer, do we have the logo? Their logo? Do we have their logo?
No.
Oh, we're looking for the logo. We just showed the.
Yeah. We have. Look for it, and you see what we're talking about. It's quite deliberate. And if you look at the name, look at the logo, then I would want you then at some point to infuse the rich family legacy, the rich family tradition, and the family history behind the name. You would see that in terms of marketing, it's going to be the easiest marketing name that we're going to have in the league, not just in the Division 1, but next year in the Premier League.
What?
Next year in the Premier League.
So it's certain.
Wait, and they kicked a ball.
Not even. It's yet to start.
And they haven't unveiled, but you're playing in the Premier League next season.
For sure. Why would you ever get in a competition and not really set your standards to win?
Yeah, but
we're in it to win.
Yeah, but setting standards and actually getting to win. Setting targets and actually getting to.
And our target for any other team, right? This is to be on the top echelon of the league table. For instance, I'll give you an example, which I know you wouldn't want to hear. And when you talk to Caps, they will tell you we want to win the league. That's what they will tell you.
They could win the league.
No, that's what they will tell you.
But now, when the example that I've given, Jemba here, the example that I've given is actually about of a team that has been playing, a team that has a rich history, a team that has done it before. Then the question becomes, what is it, Innocent? I think we share the same question. What is it? You guys haven't even kicked the ball. You are yet to unveil the team, but already you are seeing yourself playing in the Premiership next season.
Why not? Why not? I'm thinking for any other team that is playing in the lower league, any lower league, be the third division, obviously their ultimate vision is to play in the elite league, and for us we're no exception. We want to play in the elite league, and that's why we're in this competition.
Yes, I can understand that you wanted to play, wanting to play in the Premier League, but next season, there are targets that we set. Like, I want to have a six-pack by... No, seriously. I want to have
you actually want to have what?
This is all I have.
It's not an example. This is actually a target.
This is a goal.
Okay.
I want to have a six-pack in the next 6 months. But if I tell you I want to have a six-pack on Monday, and look at me, it sounds weird, doesn't it?
No, but the thing is, we're looking at almost a 10-month period, and you have just given us an example of a 6 month. So it's a season long, yeah. And unless your argument is it's a maiden season and you don't have to set any targets, then I'll then come back and disagree.
We're okay with setting targets.
Yeah.
It's the
Is it
season.
exactly? Is it a realistic target? Is it a target that the CEO is saying, or this is actually the institutional target? And is it a realistic target? And maybe whilst we're on that, can you maybe shed light on to say who is this technical setup that you have that is bigger than most of the Premiership, and do you have the players to be able to achieve that target? Because it is a fact that the Northern Region Division 1 football is probably the toughest of all the divisions that we have. So can you just take us through that to say who are these guys that the technical setup, and do you have the players to realize such a target within such a short space of time?
Why would you say a season is short space?
No, I'm saying, I mean, this is a new baby. I mean, short space as a...
We're expecting it to work tomorrow.
Exactly, and people don't even know who Ngombe Ayaora is, except for a few of us.
At least the beautiful thing is we're this podcast, those that follow you guys now know that there is Ngombe Ayaora, the new...
We do have quite a number that are watching, and we thank them, and we encourage more to be watching.
And the beautiful thing is now, obviously, I will implore them to obviously follow us as Ngombe Ayaora, and obviously, I mean, if possible, come and join us as supporters. We are actually looking for supporters from across the country. We just not I mean
across the country. Where are you based anyway?
We're here in Mavuku. That Mavuku is
Okay. So nowadays, whenever we hear of Mavuku, then I think that has unraveled the family. And are we wrong to insinuate that?
It's that family.
Listen, like I'm telling you.
No, Jemba, are we wrong to think that is the family?
Which family are we?
The Mavuku, the family that has popularized Mavuku in football nowadays.
They've actually popularized football. Not Mavuku. They've popularized football. Tell me who is not talking about Scotland.
So you are confirming that's the family.
No, listen. There is absolutely nothing for me to confirm. Yeah, like I told you, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
It's never a secret. But what I'm telling you is the secret or the mystery is behind the name and how we're gonna unveil the name.
It's so crazy.
Are you answered? Because he's losing me now.
Listen. I think there are few who are actually following, who are getting precisely what I'm saying. There is nothing to hide about the family.
Okay. There is nothing to hide about the family.
Let me go ahead, bro. This is in the public domain. Okay. Yeah. So our club leadership structure. This is how it is. We have the president at the top. We have the presidium. We have the executive.
The president doesn't have a name.
No, I'm gonna get there. I'm trying to get you the organogram, how it looks like. Yeah. So that at least when I then get down to names, you guys can then pick it. And so our president is Mr. Daniel Sagupanya, right?
Daniel who?
Sagupanya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then the VP is Mr. Pritchard Sibanda.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the presidium for you. Yeah, exactly. That's the presidium for you now. Yeah. Then we go to the executive. Our executive chairman is Mr. Kasper Chitima. Yeah. Then we have obviously a void on the vice chairmanship because of structural, right, and efficient issues. Then underneath you have the Secretary General, Mr. Colin Manyore. You have the Treasurer, Mr. Tendeke Sakupanya. Then we have the Secretariat, obviously being led by me.
Mr. Terence Malung. So I've heard two names there, Innocent.
Yeah.
Two familiar names that are associated with Mavugo. All we want, or you and I, maybe even the viewers, in it is it the famous Sakupanya family who are the benefactors? Simple.
Yeah.
All right.
And this was never a secret.
But it took you a while.
No, listen. No, not necessarily. If you for those that follow Ngombe Aura, they know that we have unveiled our presidium and our executive way back. Yeah. But it's in the history of the name that we haven't really.
So this history is the one that you're going to unpack on the day of unveiling.
This is gonna be a series. You actually get to love what we're gonna do with the name and the history behind the name.
So as we stand today, Ngombe Aura has a technical team.
Oh yeah.
Has players. And everything is set except for the unveiling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in terms of the technical team, I think it's also for those that follow football and love football. They will know who the head coach is. Coach.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but who's
Nesbitt Saucha Blayabo. Blayabo obviously is the head coach. We have Thanks Tengwe. For those that know football would know Thanks Tengwe. Being the first assistant. Then we have Charles.
Thanks Tengwe was with you at Ghana's.
Yeah.
Tengwe was with you at Ghana's.
Yeah. Then you have Charles Mtero. Then that's for you the top.
Sorry, Charles Mtero was formerly Caps United at some point, right? Fitness trainer now.
No. Coach.
But I think
he's coach.
Is he coach? Fitness coach? What is he?
No, he's a coach.
Oh, okay.
He's a technical coach. Yeah.
All right, so
and also talking about it, obviously I won't be able to run down by name because of interest of our time. But we do have a performance analyst. We have a fitness trainer. We have two medics. We have a kit manager, and we have a very, very, very large team of safety and security. I heard you talking about my bouncer. Quite that number bouncer. We have got safety and security officers. That choose.
But you haven't kicked the boy yet, Terry, and there isn't much to protect. Wait till Ngombe Aura gets to a point where Ngombe Aura, they're actually in the running for promotion, Innocent. That's when you see the emergence of these muscled men.
No, but what?
From sitting where we are supposed to sit.
What also we have also been trying to do really is, if you look at the chairman, he's somebody who has been in football like forever, and he's one of those, if you ask me, those top football executives that we have ever had in the country. And with him, obviously, I'll take you to the history of Gunners. We're not talking about Gunners, but we saw what Gunners managed to do in a short space of time, and how organized it was back then. And this is somebody we can always rely on in terms of leadership, guidance, and making sure that things are done properly.
Can I confess? I loved that team to bits. Gunners, man, I loved the side. It was just for me.
It was on point, yeah? And I hope you're not being biased because the guy that we are talking about, Mr. Stima, is a Shitungwiza boy. I hope you're not being biased.
He's being biased.
But obviously, to be quite honest, this is the leadership that we do have, and this is the guidance that we'll always be obviously relying on as we set up a new team. And obviously, setting up a new team, it's never going to be easy. I will tell you that for a fact. Setting up this team obviously was never easy, and it's still a process, and that's why probably by now we were supposed to have done our unveiling way back, and the reason of us not doing that is somehow strategic. We won't be able to unveil the week before the league starts.
All right, catch everyone by surprise. I guess that's what they're trying to do. But Terence, I know we will talk a lot about Mumhari and their endeavor to play in the Premier League next season. But currently, if you didn't know, Chicken Inn are playing
Yada.
playing against Yada FC.
Yada.
Yada is actually hosting Chicken Inn. Something very interesting before the game actually started. The game has just ended. It ended 0. Yada getting a point out of that one. But what was weird, what we were talking about before the game started, was that Yada had only one substitute going into the game against Chicken.
Yeah, because I think in the previous game they had 2. So they had a player red carded, I'm told. So that means they can only have one person. I think it's coming from the fact that they had a brush-in with FIFA because of certain foreign players that did not get their dues. And there was a ban on them in terms of player movements. They could not be transfers into Yada. But my question then becomes, or my worry for in this regard becomes that these guys, they've got an academy of some sort. I don't think, Jemba, I tend to be corrected. I think the ban does not extend to the players that you can promote from a junior structures or the players that are coming in as free agents that are not moving from any club, because it's a transfer ban. So I don't know the reason as to why the pre-season was a platform given to them, maybe to have trials and try to have a number of players that can at least if you're saying you have registered 20 players, it makes sense. Unlike a situation whereby you've got one substitute on the bench, and I think PSL has to address that.
Wait, but as a standard, how many are supposed to be in the match day squad? Minimum 11. What is the rule? Does anyone know?
No, it has to be around 18.
So then when you have 13, what happens? You can still play.
In a game of football, you can play with 7 players. 7 players. If it's anything below 7, the game is abandoned. But 7 and above.
My question is, can you go onto the field of play with 7 players?
Yes. Oh. If say we are traveling to Bulawayo for a game, and we have got separate transport, 7 of us actually get to the stadium before the referee can start the game. These other ones can probably join. I don't know how then that will happen. But according to the laws, the game can start. But if it's even red cards, if the team can be red carded up to, 7 players remaining. But if it goes beyond that, then the match is abandoned.
So apparently, in terms of the ban, their ban is a registration ban. So any other player, if they want to try, even from the junior team, they want to. It's a registration. It's not a transfer ban.
Okay. Thank you for the correction.
So they can't register for. I think it was 2 successive or 2 window periods that they can't register. So imagine if
the only players
in any
that
case,
are registered are 14.
Probably is the players that they had already in their squad list on the system. Those are the players that probably they're playing around with. So any other registration, they can't, because like you just alluded to, they have got a fantastic academy system. That at any given time they would have just gotten those boys and registered them for the season.
But do you know what boggles my mind, innocent? This is a side that has had players on loan. This is a side that actually has players, all over. So, are these players not registered as the other players loaned out?
They are.
They are registered as the other players. So why can't they then call them back?
I wouldn't be quite privy. I was just, I mean, trying to, yeah. I wouldn't know because somebody might say they do have a loan, but we're not so sure if they do have a loan actually, or if they do have a contract with the player in question. That's more private, and it's not anything that most cases would be in the public domain to really point that this is our player and our player has been loaned out. I think the other question was when Shandiro wanted to make a switch to Caps. We heard that there was still an existing or a running contract with Tiada, but then later on we heard that it was a purely out of contract transfer to Caps at some point. So you wouldn't be quite sure what the status is.
Bevan, we were talking, I think the previous podcast when we were previewing the season, was it the previous podcast? And we did mention that Yada would be in trouble. This makes it a bit worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, I felt that way. That this is one season that they need to pull up the socks big time and fight more than they've ever fought before, because it appears this is going to be a tough season, and this makes it worse. Because here's the thing, what then happens in the cases of say you've got injuries, because you're never going to be immune to those. So this is something that can happen, and it's not planned. So I don't know the reason as to why, with such a benefactor as Prophet Walter Magaya, how they have struggled so much, maybe to clear the date and go maybe to plead with FIFA for the ban to be lifted. I have no idea, but this is one side personally that I'll tell you I wouldn't want Yada to be relegated, because there is a lot that happens at Yada. They sort of set the right tone. What your Scotland are doing now, raising the bar high. Yada, they do that in their own right. I mean, look at their Immaculate Stadium. It may not be as big in terms of capacity, but the playing surface. This is what you're looking at. So this is one side that I would always want to have in the Premiership. But now, with the situation that is obtaining now, they are in serious trouble, and they may be swimming in the murky waters of relegation.
Gentlemen, we've got a couple of fixtures that are going to be live on ZBC over the weekend. First of all is, of course, the team that we're talking about, Dynamos. They're playing against some stubborn students.
It's Rentals versus Dynamos.
Some stubborn students at Rufaro Stadium. Who's at home? Rentals.
It's Rentals.
Rentals at home, but we all know.
Yeah, but that's a fixture that I think Dynamos will find very difficult to win. One misconception that people have about that team is they think it's not a decent side. That's the Rentals. If you watch them play, they're actually a very decent side. Well, and they've got these special kind of players that the Rentals kind of players that they have. I don't think Dynamos have yet gelled to a point of beating them in this coming game.
Jemba, Valentine says they are midgets.
Mm-hmm. The Dynamos midgets. It's quite unfortunate. You'd see that when the actual games go tough, you'd actually most cases rely on the stature and the stamina. It's more of an eat dog kind of matches, and you would think midgets won't really cut it, and unfortunately it's what it is for Dynamos.
Bevan, it's a matter of finding the tallest striker in your team and then putting him up front. Cross the ball as much as possible. It's
been a worrying trend for me. I even had a conversation with Dr. Nick Mnyonga, and I was saying, Doc, what has happened to our size? Our players have dwindled, and for some reason, Dynamos, they have a high affinity for these. I don't want to use midget, but the small kind of. Because, like you're saying, sometimes you're going to be playing against these big players. You are never going to have it your way. So I think, I don't know what they need to do to address that, but we need to have bigger players.
Caps United play against Scotland. Jemba, you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to say anything either. Anyway, that's going to be a very interesting match. That will be on it's Rufaro Stadium again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Caps United taking on Scotland FC. We'll wait and see how that turns out. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the podcast. This has been Strictly Football. Jemba, Scotland did win. Yeah? Could you? Until we're done. Yeah. That's my master about that. My master about that.